assignments. But once a coach can teach them, look, let's go back to the basics. Let's throw away that you're 6'5", 280, and run a 4.7 40. Let's go back to the basics. Like you said, blocking, tackling, head placement, being where I'm supposed to be, alignment assignment, and that's when you're going to be able to get those results at the end of the game that you're looking for.
Well, I tell you, you sound like a very well-disciplined, like you had a disciplined
Sounds like you
background.
had parents, don't it?
Exactly. Well, that's the first thing.
I did.
You had some great parents.
Great parents.
How did you take the skills and talents that you developed on the football field and transfer them to what you do now?
Well, that's a good question. As a football player, they teach you to be able to pay attention, respect your coaches, to be able to give back outside of just this arena. And as a financial planner with Raymond James Morgan Keegan, I have that opportunity to not only help out clients financially, but also be a servant in my community. And it's been a great opportunity. That hard work, being able to get up, it's no longer film that you're studying something a little bit different than just film and moving bodies. But it's sort of the same concept and also the same level of excellence.
Trey?
I'm going to jump forward just to ask you a question because I know this is financial stuff. So ESPN had a show on the other night that was called it's 30 for 30. All right. On this show it said, and I'm so glad he's here today, on this show of 30 for 30, it had on there great athletes, now broke. All right. Great athletes, now broke. Now, there were some people on there that I go, man, that guy, Bernie Kosar, broke. He was like GM with the Browns at one time, and he, great quarterback. Cleveland Browns, as they didn't make it to the Super Bowl because of the Broncos. All right. Then you hear about Warren Sapp broke and selling Super Bowl rings and things like that. All right. How do you get the discipline, or where does that discipline come from? Does it come from mom and dad? Does it come from within me when I get this money as to what I need to do with it? All right, $12 million in my pocket now, and I just finished picking peanuts. Something's got to give.
I think there are a lot of parties that would be involved to be able to help that to put things in perspective, that 22-year-old, because they're not 35 when they first receive their money. There are a lot of habits that a person develops, whether they're playing sports or whether they're doing something else. They create those habits. So if that athletics individual that loves to be the best, they're going to sometimes take that same mentality with a lot of other things. I think the education has to start at a high school, college level to be able to educate these kids to understand the amount of money that's going to come to them, one, and two, the increments that they're going to be responsible for. Because just as the three of us work every day, we're going to get paid on maybe a monthly or bi-weekly basis. Where NFL players get paid within those 16 weeks, and they have other opportunities throughout the year to be able to receive X amount of dollars. They have to have a set budget set aside. And most importantly, they have to take ownership of that budget. It can't be something that somebody's making me do this, because again, it's their money. That's where the education early on starts and say, this is my money. This is going to last me for the rest of my life. I'm not going to retire at 59 and a half. I'm going to retire at 33. Yes, I have to be able to start another career, but several of those people that were on that list were people that should have made enough money to be able to not work for the rest of their lives.
Correct.
Well, I tell you, you know, it's a lot of trust involved in that as well, that when you've got that kind of money and you trust people to invest it for you without coming to a consultant like yourself or people like that that have the knowledge of this, that's where guys lose a lot of money. Somebody says, I got this idea to get us rich off of your money. You know, guys don't hear it like that. But that's something that we have to emphasize to the young guys coming up now. But Lionel and I have put together a couple of questions that we want to ask you about securing funding or helping to develop funding for college scholarship for parents. You've got a minute?
Sure.
All right.
I'm glad to.
All right. Lionel, you want to kick it off?
Yes. As a parent, and my kids are 12 and 9, you know, obviously not 2 or 3, but I want to make it the easiest for you to answer, and then make it the most difficult to answer. In the state of Alabama, they have the PACT plan for college tuition, and then now you've got the college count 529.
That's correct.
Okay, what is the difference between the two, or the pros and the cons?
Well, the best way to be able to save for college is, first of all, be knowledgeable that you want to be able to send your kid to college, and be aware that in this time frame I'm going to need to start putting these monies away. The PAC program had something set up. There were some flaws in it, just as well as anything else. But the College 529 plan is a plan that allows that person, that owner, to be able to put monies away for that loved one that they want to be able to see go to school at some point in time in the day, some point in time in their life. They're able to put away those monies, and it's tax advantageous. It's also professionally managed. There's a high limitation.
This is College 529.
This is College
Okay,
529 plan. I'm sorry. And there is high limitations on the contributions, and there's also no restrictions on who can put money in these funds as well. So that's really important for people that not only I want to put my kid through school, but also I have a loving sister or brother that also wants to assist with being able to help me do that, because they say it takes a village to raise a family. But the College Counts 529 plan is a plan that the state of Alabama has adopted and utilized, and allows each person, each owner of that College 529 plan to put away $5,000 per year and have a state tax benefit. So as a husband, I'm able to put away $5,000, and as a spouse, I'm able to put an additional $5,000. So there's $10,000 for a husband and wife for a state tax benefit. Well, they're also able to put those monies away and have them invested in a numerous different amount of ways, whether it be a asset allocation model or a age-based allocation. So if I have someone that is 2 years old, they may tend to be a little bit more aggressive than if I was 16 years old and going to need that money in the next 18 months or so. Well, that's something that I think is really beneficial. Why? Because it's beneficial from a tax standpoint, and it also allows that parent to be able to sit down and make that decision, to be able to say, I'm going to put monies away and invest in my child early, to be able to give them that opportunity to be able to go to college.
I've got a quick question here. What is the Alabama state income tax deduction for contributions to the College 529 fund?
Well, it allows each individual, say $5,000, to be able to put away each year and put away in there, as well as the spouse to be able to put away $5,000 per year. So that's $10,000 for a husband and wife each year. Now those monies have a state tax benefit. So once that money comes out for a eligible educational expense, eligible is a key word. From there, that money that's been grown is tax-free, as long as it goes to a qualified educational expense.
Is there a deadline for that?
There's a deadline.
To get that tax deduction?
For this year, it'll be December 31st. At the end of that day, long as it's postmarked by December 31st. And if you make an online contribution, the online contribution has to be made by 11:59 p.m.
Getting on that 12 o'clock witching hour.
Lyle, you got any more questions? 'Cause I got more.
You know, when you say eligible college expense, what exactly is an eligible college expense? And I guess the question I'm asking is, I know tuition would be one. Housing would probably be one if you're living on campus. Would a car be one?
Sure. That's a good question, because eligible college expenses are expenses that that child would have to utilize within the course of his or her daily studies. A car wouldn't be something that would be really qualified, because a child can get a car at 16 years old and never go to college from that standpoint. But there are anything from expenses that you would utilize, as you said, tuition, food, room, board, books, those types of expenses. And it'll give a detail on the College Counts website as well.
Okay. Well, you brought up another question. I'll make this quick right here.
Well, I'll let you have the last question, because we're running out of time.
The other question would be, and I guess this goes back to an eligibility thing. what if I'm putting this money in, and then all of a sudden my wife gets very, very ill, and I have to, you know, find some money here and there to take care of these bills? Is there a big penalty on pulling money out of there?
That's a great question. What you're able to do is put those monies away, and once you pull it out for a non-qualified expense, there is a penalty that you'll pay for that to be able to come out of that at that point. And also you'll pay taxes on any growth that you're pulling out as well.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, that's all the time we're going to have today, but I do appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Okay, you ready? Surprise. Yeah! Wait for me.
Come on.
Yeah.
Daddy?
Yeah?
The power of yeah.
Yeah.
Brought to you in part by Alabama Power. Always on.
Waiting for something to amaze me. That's when it happened. Right in front of me.
You haven't seen it until you've seen it in Charter HD. Call now to add Charter HD for only $5 more a month and watch all your favorite programs in HD. Charter, let it all in.
Oh, what's cooking?
Welcome back to What's Cooking in Sports. And now it's time for Isis. Hey, Isis, how are you, darling?
I am blessed, Gary, doing a fantastic job today, enjoying myself and getting ready for the elections and for it to be over completely.
Hey, that's a good reminder for everybody. Don't forget to vote tomorrow. Well, listen, Isis, let's get right into it. What's been going on in Atlanta and in Birmingham, and what's going to be going on?
Man, there is so much going on as far as, of course, you know that the election was going to be a tough one. Everybody basically knew this, but I love the fact that a lot of folks were celebrating. As a matter of fact, the Alabama Republican Party is ready for a shootout, literally. As a matter of fact, did you know, and if you think I'm playing, the state GOP held its election night party at Hoover Tactical Firearms, Gary.
What? So you're not kidding about the shootout thing?
Now, that's how you do it. That's definitely how you do it. Now, usually election night parties are held at hotel ballrooms or civic centers, but not for election night 2012 with the Republicans. The party night lineup included former Miss Alabama Amy Beth Dickinson Shaver, who was the mistress of ceremonies. Special guests included current Miss Alabama Anna Laura Bryant, who sung the national anthem, and catch this, live music appropriately, active Congress. But inside of the Republican Party, I can imagine that it was a chance to be in the company of one of the largest selections of weapons in Alabama, and the large indoor firing range at Hoover Tactical Firearms was a sure draw for the party. After all, how many election parties welcome you and your pistol rifle, Gary?
Huh. That's something to think about.
Now, as far as for the weekend, if you're trying to find something to get into, and if you're in town this weekend and you like to go fast, the Alabama International Auto Show will be a dazzling, spectacular car show featuring the 2012 model year domestic and import cars. They got light truck, SUVs, hybrid vehicles of all sizes and vans. If you didn't go to last year's, you're definitely in for a treat this year. They got over 400 vehicles from manufacturers all over the world, covering 230,000 square feet inside and another 90,000 square feet of test driving, which you got Chevrolet, you got Buick, and you got GM vehicles at the GM Experience, the drive. We haven't tried that yet. It's also a very fun event. All this makes the 2012 Alabama International Auto Show simply the best. The auto show will cover all levels of the convention complex, and manufacturers reps, we got product specialists in town, your local Birmingham automobile dealer associations, and financial institutions, again, if you're trying to get financing, will be on hand to assist in product education, feature comparisons, safety standards, and other consumer points of interest on hundreds of makes and models, and all under one roof, and only for $8, Gary. Now, that's definitely a deal.
Sounds like a plan. Now, let's get to my favorite point. Entertainment.
Entertainment, the favorite part of the whole thing, and Now, I know a lot of folks have been waiting for this. I know I personally have, and they have been talking about it for years, but more than a decade after Lisa Left Eye Lopez died in a crash in Honduras, TLC are finally planning a new album and a reunion tour.
All right.
To play a long-rumored starring role as a hologram. Now, Gary, I don't know about you, but this still weirds me out. I know it's a beautiful thing. I know they want to see her, but Rosanna Chili Thomas told the UK Metro newspaper the hologram is something they've talked about and thought about for years. Obviously, timing is everything, but they're definitely talking about it, so we'll see how that happens. But the idea to resurrect Lopez, who was 30 when she died for stage shows, was rumored last spring after a hologram of Tupac Shakur wowed audiences at Coachella. But this is the first time the band members admit they are considering it. Now, Chili also said it would be hard on them, but she certainly thinks their fans would love to see it. Now, as far as the album business, Tion T-Boz Watkins says will be classic TLC with some fine-tuning, still going to sound like TLC, evolving to whatever level they need to be at this time. And again, there is no time limit yet for the new album or tour, which is going to drive me crazy. But Thomas and Watkins are also working on a TLC biopic for VH1, still keeping that memory of Lisa alive, and of course, making sure that they stay current as well. So that's going to be a great tour if it ever comes to police. You know?
Well, I tell you, it's scary to me to see that hologram thing, because I was such a big fan of that group.
And you know something, and I understand the desire to have that interview, but that just creeps me out. Everything, when I saw it at Coachella, I was done. I was like, you just leave the man alone, leave him alone. But I'm quite sure for entertainment purposes, it's going to be interesting. And as far as the technology now, that's something that you can definitely get your concert goers to get into. So that would be a good thing.
Well, now that the Magic City Classic is over, what's going on in the city? I want to hear some more live entertainment.
Well, you know, gosh, we're getting ready for, of course, the entertainment district, and that's still coming into play. But your local places, again, have most of your talent. There isn't anything huge coming as of right now that I know of as far as into November, December. But as soon as I find out, you know you're going to know, right?
Well, I would appreciate it. So you and I are going to have to make something happen in the city. We gotta help drive the traffic to some live entertainment, because everybody wants it, and this is the place to be.
Exactly, and I definitely have that coming to you, because towards the end of the year, you're going to have a lot more fun going into 2013. So definitely have that loaded up for you.
All right. Well, listen, Lars, I really appreciate you and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, Gary. Have a good one, y'all.
Go get you some rest, girl.
No, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Surprise. Yeah! Wait for me.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daddy?
Yeah?
The power of yeah.
Yeah.
Brought to you in part by Alabama Power. Always on.
Something to amaze me. That's when it happened. Right in front of me.
You haven't seen it until you've seen it in Charter HD. Call now to add Charter HD for only $5 more a month and watch all your favorite programs in HD. Charter, let it all in.
The power of Brought to you in part by Alabama Power. Always on.
And we have the pleasure again of having Chef Leroy. Chef, what's cooking today?
Well, Gary, I'm glad to be back. I have a beautiful turkey burger I'm actually doing for you today. Remember when I did the beef sliders?
I do.
Man, this is going to be a bigger, better product. because we're using ground turkey instead.
Okay.
So I'm gonna toast the bread like I did the last time.
All right.
And let that toast. We have ground turkey. I'm gonna show you how I season this time. Last time I just had it already made and showed you. So we're gonna add a little bit of salt.
Okay.
A little thyme, oregano, some black pepper, my go-to seasoning, sazon, and a little bit of crushed red pepper. And I can't forget the garlic.
Okay.
So then we're gonna mix this up here. You can use your hand, you can use a spoon, but we don't want to be a little messy today. So we're gonna just mix this up here. Now, we got this mixed in real nice. We're just gonna drop this here in your pan.
Okay.
Hear that sizzle.
Oh man.
Now, as that is forming,
Okay.
we take our bread here. It should be nice and toasted. Now, when you're cooking turkey burgers, when you're cooking any type of meat, you can't really do this on the grill unless you freeze it. So if you want to do a party pre-ahead of time, you could pat these out with your hands, stick them in the freezer, about an hour, hour and a half, pull them out, stick them on the grill if you're having a party. So those who don't eat hamburgers, they can have turkey burgers. But since today we're doing it quickly, we're just going to go ahead and make it up and pat it up.
Okay.
So now, if you want to basically dress your turkey burger, as this is cooking, you have some lettuce here. You take some lettuce. You can wash your lettuce, of course. You want to make sure everyone's healthy and clean. You get your tomato. Two slices. You don't have to be stingy. Now, some people like onions, some people don't.
Okay.
Do you like onions in your burger?
Cooked onions, I do.
Cooked onions? Pretty much. So, just take the turkey burger, stick the lettuce. Pretty much that's it. You serve it with some french fries, some chips, horseradish, ketchup, whatever you like on it. And you have a beautiful turkey burger, homemade, lettuce, tomato. You want to add some pickles, you can.
Well, so everybody knows this is mine. All right, after the shoot is over, this is mine. So don't nobody look at this, don't touch this. This is mine. Good deal. Good deal.
So now you know how to make a turkey burger from scratch.
I'm all over it because, you know, when you're doing a tailgate party or if you're doing watching the game at home, these are something simple that our viewership can put together.
Very simple. Very simple. Very simple. And it's affordable.
That's the part I like.
It's very affordable.
Okay.
So very easy meal, very affordable, and the kids will love it, your friends will love it, and they'll think you're just this wonderful gourmet chef in your own kitchen.
All right.
Well, Gary, I
Thanks a
appreciate you
lot.
having me. I'm glad I showed you how to make a turkey burger. I'm looking forward to future episodes.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm going to take this over here and I'll catch you guys later.